All right, everyone, if we could find our seats, silence our cell phones, close the side and back doors, we're about to get started. All right. Good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 5th day of January in the year 2026. Happy New Year to everybody. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing exactly 6:01 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh. Ooh, nice.
There we go.
Councilperson Solomon.
Here.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Present.
Councilperson DeGise. Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here.
We have all 9 council members present and attendance at 6:01 p.m. Can we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please?
Ms. McCann.
The Republic, one nation, liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. On behalf of Council President Waterman and the members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2026, and filed in the office of the city clerk on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, January 2nd, 2026 at 7:23 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. So with that being said, I just want to go on record and just say that this will be the last council meeting for the council that is behind me, except for 2 council members that are going to be returning, and obviously Mayor-elect Solomon. And I would like to say congratulations to the ones who are returning, and especially Mayor-elect Solomon. And it's never goodbye. It's always see you later. Okay, so there's always an open door in the clerk's office and City Hall. So the outgoing members just know that it's weighing very heavy on my heart tonight. I don't want to get emotional. I am an emotional guy, and I do see Councilperson Rivera's family here, which is really tugging on my heart too. Councilperson Rivera and Council President Waterman and Councilperson Baggiano, we've been attached to the hip, and I'll say that like Councilperson Rivera would always say, for almost 12 years, and we know each other probably longer than that. So it's bittersweet, but also I know that you guys are going to have the biggest smile on your faces, that you don't have to come to council meetings anymore and deal with the members of the public. But you know what? I know you guys are not going to stop fighting and stop caring about Jersey City, because I know each and every one of you that sits behind me does love Jersey City. So with that being said, Whew, I got through that without getting emotional. Okay, great. I have there's a motion to defer to the claims and resolutions since we do not have any ordinances on the meeting. Do I have a motion to defer to claims and resolutions?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to defer the claims and resolutions, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion carries 9-0 unanimously to defer to claims and the resolutions. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go right to our claims. And we have our claims. I'm going to be taking a vote on the claims first. So with that being said, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. The claims are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our resolutions. So because we didn't have a caucus, I'm going to read these resolutions into the record. Item 10.1, City Resolution 26-001 is a resolution changing the time of the reorganization meeting scheduled for Thursday, January 15th, 2026, from 6 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Item 10.2, City Resolution 26-002 is a resolution ratifying a contract award to Royal Printing Service for the printing of official election machine and sample ballots for the runoff election on December 4th, 2025. And last but not least, item 10.3, City Resolution 26-003 is a resolution for reimbursement to the Hudson County Clerk for services rendered for the runoff election on December 4th, 2025. Council members are going to be taking a vote on items 10.1 through 10.3. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera. And Council President Waterman. Resolutions 10.1 through 10.3 are approved unanimously 9-0. Okay, we're going to get to our public speakers now. Before we get to the public speakers, does anyone want to make a statement? Any council member want to say a little something before we move on to the public speakers?
You want to do it after?
You don't have to. I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
Happy New Year.
They want to get to it, Sean.
Okay, enough
Dinner.
with the kudos. All right, so if everyone watching at home and everyone present, if you could pay attention to the agenda, I'm going to be calling the number and the first name of the individual. With that being said, first speaker, 5.1, Laverne. I believe she's here. 5.2, David. Not here. 5.3, Edward. Not here. 5.4, Gina is here. Thank you.
Good evening.
Evening.
Gina Davison. I am an aide to Councilman Gilmore, but I'm speaking on my own behalf as a resident of Jersey City tonight. Mr. Boggiano, thank you for your service, and thank you for always speaking up for the people. We appreciate you. There are those of you who are here for your last time. And I want to let y'all know, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. I'm not passionate about local politics. I don't want to be here. I have other things to do. Just like my friend Tina Knowles, who also feels compelled to be here because she sees how some of you have so spectacularly failed the people of Jersey City. And I see which one of you are avoiding eye contact with me right now. And I hope that you all take a minute before you decide to run for office again, some of you. Because this has been a disappointment. So I want to thank some of you for continuing to speak for the people. I want to thank Mr. Solomon. I want to thank you for running an excellent campaign, for also speaking for the people. And we will be here. We will be back next year because, you know, Mr. Stephen Fulop also started his political career here in Jersey City as a very progressive council person. And I think some of you have exemplified what happens when people get close to money and power. And it's a shame because I know some of you did get into this for the right reasons. But you allowed yourselves to be perverted by a power machine. And I know some of you will continue to serve at the behest of those powers of developers and real estate folks here in Jersey City who have taken advantage of our city. And we will be watching you. Good night.
Our next speaker, 5.5, Tina.
Hey, yeah, my name is Tina Knowles, and yes, I do work for Education in Gilmore. I'm speaking upon myself, though. I just wanted to say, yes, some of y'all did do an excellent job. That's the truth. Because we are human, and we learn from mistakes, and we grow. But me running for election, I found out a lot of y'all are sneaky. A lot of y'all do have a lot of meetings undercover. A lot of y'all do follow the money. See, mine wasn't about the money. It was just really making history for Jersey City, just to show them that we can come together and to help each other and to grow. Because it showed me doing what I had been doing from the bottom of my heart 28 years out my house and out my car. It showed me how our community, we just came from PA with my son skiing, and they know every place we go, I love to go to the mayor office. I love to go to find out how they do their community, how they are able to change their community, how they are able to grow in their community, and to see how they come out every Sunday for $1 a day for them to get clothes for free. I thought that was so amazing how they interact with each other. Wasn't nobody trying to be better than each other. Wasn't no organization trying to fight over who did what. They were just trying to be happy. And that's what it's about. It's about for us to grow. It's about for us to come together. It's about for us to be honest with our community. Not for me to grow, not for my family to grow, but for everyone to grow. Everyone deserve to grow. Every community deserves to grow. Every nonprofit deserve to grow. And that's what it's about. I've been coming here to these meetings, met some of y'all through y'all wife, met some of y'all through y'all mothers, met some of y'all for dropping off to my community. So I know that we could come together and help each other. This is a new year. I'm definitely going to be watching to make sure that we do the right thing. Again, guys, thank you so much for the ones who did and really is doing this from the bottom of the heart. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.6, Hu Feng. Not here. 5.7, Omar. 5.8, Esther.
Here.
5.9, Yvonne. 5.10, Howard. 5.11, Ahmed. 5.12, Kevin. Kevin Davis. 5.13, Yana. Yana is here.
Good evening, council members. My name is Yana and I live in Journal Square neighborhood. I am here because on December 16th, I learned firsthand what it means to need the Jersey City Police Department's assistance and be left waiting. That night at 10:30 p.m., 10:32 p.m., my friends and I witnessed a man being violently assaulted by multiple attackers in downtown Jersey City. Actually, corner of Newark Avenue and 2nd Street. The man was beaten in the middle of the street and there were multiple witnesses. So at 10:33 p.m., and I have a call log if anyone have questions about this, it's all recorded. The attackers I called 911 at 10:33 p.m. The attackers ran away when we yelled at them that the police were on the way, but they did not go far. In fact, they stayed nearby, watching from around the corner as we circled around the victim to protect him while desperately pleading with the dispatcher and 911 call to please send help. The attackers remained there for at least 10 minutes around the corner. And please remember this as I'm going through the story. 10:48 p.m., after waiting 15 minutes with no police in sight, I called the Jersey City non-emergency number right here, happily advertised at right here. And the man who on the other end of the line sounded very annoyed by this brazen inquiry of, hey, what's happening? He said, you called 15 minutes ago. They'll get there when they can. I reminded him that the police station is a 12-minute leisurely walk from that location. So as we were staying there, and by the way, no concern about our safety, the witnesses were there. We told him that the assailants were still around the corner, waiting for the victim to not have any witnesses around him. Meanwhile, the victim was bruised, bleeding, and in shock. He was conscious but terrified. He told us that he had seen the attackers vandalizing one of the storefronts. He called out at them and said, hey, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave. In response, they attacked him and took his phone away. At 10:53 p.m., 20 minutes after the assault began, I placed another 911 call. I was told the officers are on the way. Finally, at 10:55, 22 minutes after the first 911 call, begging for assistance, and just half a mile from the nearest police station, 3 police cars showed up. By then, the attackers were gone.
Yana, your time is up. I'm sorry.
I will just say that I will come back to speak here again and again and again until my time is not gone. But I'm calling for reform, and I have a lot of
Thank you.
on my back. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.14, Janhita. Not here. Thank you. Next speaker, 5.15, Kevin.
Good evening, Council President Waterman, members of the council, Mayor-elect Solomon. I'm Kevin Weller, 2025 Co-Advocate of the Year from the James Solomon Civic Association. Tonight marks a transition. We close one chapter and open another. This council passed 4 landmark tenant protection ordinances: the algorithmic rent fixing ban, mandatory disclosure of the same, exempt scope clarification, mandatory minimum fines, and for that, I thank you sincerely. The laws without enforcement, as we all know, protect landlords and not tenants. For 259 days, we documented violations via both emails and see-click-fix. 68 consecutive council meetings, over 1,000 speeches, and tonight all of those violations continue. I want to be fair. Director Richardson has issued many summonses. He has spent enormous time on the first draft of rent recalculations. That work matters, and I acknowledge it, even though more work remains to align those recalculations to the ordinance. But I remain deeply disappointed. Multiple provisions in constant violation have never been summoned. Provisions that were summoned have not applied the mandatory minimums this council unanimously passed. The next administration should examine this fully. That will include more resources for enforcement and likely some needed replacements. I'm ready to work with Mayor Solomon and the new council. My fellow tenants and I will provide extensive feedback on the enforcement gaps we've observed. I also look forward to working with Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, Governor, to explore what role the state may play in ensuring the city is no longer a housing violation free-for-all. And with her new AG related to the tax implications when a city fails its fiduciary duty by not collecting millions in mandatory fines. An unfortunate reality for Mayor Solomon, this council and outgoing administration have created a mess that will land on his desk. Legal liability doesn't disappear on January 14th. Some on this council may have even created a situation that may test the limits of qualified immunity. I'm not a lawyer, as everyone knows. I'll leave that exploration to those who may investigate why over $100 million in illegal rents were extracted and whether any of that money benefited any politicians in the city or elsewhere. Now, as we close this council, I do have something for each of you. These are official attempt medals from the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm giving one to each of you for your participation in breaking a world record. What the exact record will be is still in progress, but I will do my best to ensure each of you is recognized. Give some thought to what that looks like for your legacy. Will it be a record of the most advocacy in the face of resistance, or the record for allowing the most housing violations to continue after 1,000 speeches? Your legacy will forever be linked to it. Congratulations.
Sean, I don't think we can receive gifts. Might be a bribe.
Explosive if it's $400. It's an attempt to extract value.
Our next speaker, 5.16, Tom.
We gave
Tom's not here. Thank you.
legal.
I know Daniel is here, 5.17.
Good evening. I am going to focus on the future. So towards that end, my speech is mainly directed towards Mayor-elect Solomon and Councilpersons Gilmore and Councilperson Ridley. So I'm here tonight with a straightforward request that the new administration not only support, but actively enforce several housing ordinances that this council passed over the last year. These laws were adopted deliberately. However, without enforcement, they do not protect tenants and they do not deter misconduct. First, Ordinance 25-057 bans the use of algorithmic rent fixing tools and information sharing systems that rely on non-public competitor data to coordinate rent increases, constrain supply, or recommend pricing. The ordinance is explicit that this conduct is unlawful, that each day of violation constitutes a separate offense, and that the city's own offices are empowered to investigate and refer violations for prosecution. This law only works if the city actually investigates complaints and follows through. Second, Ordinance 25-098 builds directly on that ban by requiring landlords to provide a sworn disclosure with every lease and rent increase notice. That disclosure is executed under penalty of perjury and requires landlords to affirm that they did not use algorithmic rent setting tools or shared competitor data. This requirement is not symbolic, and it's designed to give tenants notice of their rights and to prevent landlords from later claiming ignorance. If tenants are not receiving these disclosures or false disclosures are not enforced against, the ordinance loses its purpose. Third, Ordinance 25-099 clarifies the scope of state-level exemptions for newly constructed buildings. It makes clear that those exemptions apply only to the narrow provisions limiting periodic rent increases. They do not exempt landlords from registration, disclosure, filing, or other administrative requirements. It also states plainly that later compliance does not retroactively legalize rent increases taken while a landlord was out of compliance. This ordinance exists because exemptions have been repeatedly overstated and misused. It requires consistent enforcement to mean anything. Now, finally, Ordinance 25-105 addresses deterrence. It confirms that housing violations are continuing offenses, that each day may be charged as a separate violation, that violations may be stacked, and that mandatory minimum fines apply across rent control, property maintenance, vacant unit registration, harassment, and eviction protections. These minimums were enacted because discretionary fines and negotiated reductions do not change behavior. Mayor-elect Solomon, my request is simple. I ask your incoming administration to clearly communicate these rules, to proactively enforce them rather than waiting for complaints to pile up and to publicly report on enforcement outcomes, including inspections, summonses, prosecutions, and fines actually corrected. Jersey City does not need more housing laws. It needs enforcement of the laws it already has passed. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Our next speaker, 5.18, Ezekiel. Thank you. 5.19, Barbara.
Good evening, City Council. 2025 will be remembered by many of us at Portside Towers as yet another year of inaction by our City Council. The result of failing to enforce the rulings of this city can be calculated in very human terms. It adds up to the tears and heartbreak of losing neighbors who are forced to move out our buildings by illegally high rents, forced out of the homes where they raised their children. 2026 is here, and Jersey City, thankfully, has a new mayor. I'm hoping you'll see it as a time for the City Council to turn its own corner and actually enforce the rulings of the city, to actually do the job you promised people of Jersey City you would do in exchange for their votes. Please.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.20, Jessica.
Good evening, City Council. And as you know, this January 5th meeting marks a profound transition. As this administration's tenure concludes, we are already looking toward January 15th, when a new chapter for Jersey City begins. First, I want to very clearly thank and sincerely thank this council for building a legal framework that other cities will undoubtedly follow. By passing these 4 landmark ordinances in 2025, including the nation's first algorithmic rent fixing ban and mandatory minimum housing fines, you've given us tools necessary to protect our homes. However, a tool is only as effective as the hand that wields it. While we celebrate these laws, we cannot ignore the catastrophic enforcement failure that has defined the last 259 days. We've documented over 250 days of violations since April. We've seen 515 concealed code violations documented by the DCA, including 14 life safety hazards at Portside Towers. Yet more than 8 months have passed without required tenant notifications of these issues. At $100 per unit per day, the failure to enforce the resident superintendent provision has alone the theoretical exposure of a exceeds $10 million, yet not a single dollar has been collected. So instead of justice, we see sweetheart deals and 90% discounts offered to lawbreakers. This isn't just a tenant issue, it's a fiduciary failure that shifts the burden to every taxpayer in the city. So importantly, to those that are continuing in leadership here, our expectations are high. To Mayor-elect Solomon, you stood with us and championed these ordinances. We expect you to honor that commitment on day one by auditing what was enforced and replacing officials who prioritize landlord interests over the rule of law. To Councilwoman Ridley, having heard 68 meetings of testimony, you know our story intimately, and we look to you to lead on oversight and demand a new investigative committee with real teeth. To Councilman Gilmore, you were the only member of the failed investigative committee remaining on this council. Because that committee issued not one subpoena and held 0 public hearings, your Ward F constituents deserve a public explanation, and we expect you to facilitate a truly independent investigation moving forward. We helped elect this new slate because we believe in accountability and progress. We are not going away. We expect the new administration to deliver on the promise of these laws, ensuring that the survival of our community is never again traded for political passivity. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.21, Connor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Connor Sears, and I'm a tenant at Portside Towers. This is my first time speaking before City Council. I'm not here because I'm suddenly became interested in local politics. I'm here because years of staying silent have not led to change. For more than 3 years, Portside tenants have raised the same concerns before this council, and those violations continue. My presence here tonight is not a sign that conditions are improving. It's a sign that more tenants are reaching a breaking point. Let me share a few examples. Service requests routinely take weeks or even months to resolve, if they're even addressed at all. I've personally experienced unresolved requests. At the same time, amenity fees continue to rise and the new fees are added, even as service levels decline. Tenants are charged separately for water, sewer, and trash through RUBS. Under rent control, these costs are already included in our rent. Chapter 260 says rent covers all housing costs, however set forth. We are not just being denied transparency, we are being charged for costs that are already supposed to be a part of our rent. This pattern of withholding information runs through every issue at Portside. Over the past year, this council has taken meaningful steps by passing a series of tenant protection ordinances. Ordinance 25-057 bans algorithmic rent setting. Ordinance 25098 requires disclosure of how rents increases are calculated. Ordinance 25099 makes clear that claimed exemptions do not excuse landlords from transparency. And Ordinance 25-105 was intended to strengthen enforcement. For tenants like me, these ordinances are not abstract. They directly affect whether our rent increases are lawful and whether notices that we receive can be trusted. As the city enters a period of new leadership, I want to express cautious optimism. This is an opportunity not to pass more laws, but to fully enforce the ones already on the books. Passing enforcement ordinances is only the first step. Without enforcement, even the strongest protections exist only on paper. Ordinance without enforcements do not protect tenants. I'm speaking tonight in support of the Portside Tenant Association and many residents who are exhausted from asking for the same basic protections year after year. I urge this council, the new council, and the administration moving forward to follow through on the intent of these ordinances and hold Equity Residential accountable. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.22, Mark.
Good evening, Council President and members of the Council. I want to begin by thanking this Council for the work it's done over the last 4 years. You've addressed complex housing and public safety issues, and you've passed legislation that reflects real concern for the lives of Jersey City residents. At the same time, for 3 years now, residents have come before this body to report Portside Towers' ongoing violations of 260. Despite repeated testimony and documentation, most of these violations continue today. The Council did take an important step forward by clarifying and extending 260 to strengthen the requirement for uniform security service in multiple dwellings. That ordinance was a clear acknowledgement that safety standards must be explicit and enforceable. This Council also deserves credit for attempting to limit rent control exemptions used by owners through the LLC loophole. While that effort did not ultimately pass, it showed a willingness to confront deliberate strategies that undermine tenant protections. However, the deed in Ordinance 07-153 is still being ignored. The Korean War Memorial remains unsecured, even though Portside is required to chain and lock it every night from 8 till 8. It's a clear violation of law and a failure to protect both public safety and a site of remembrance. You took an important step by passing an ordinance to prevent algorithmic price fixing among landlords. Addressing this emerging practice showed leadership and an understanding of how technology can be used to harm renters. And finally, the council passed an ordinance establishing mandatory minimum fines for landlords who ignore their responsibilities under the law. That was a strong and necessary move, but without consistent enforcement, even mandatory penalties lose their meaning. So tonight, I say thank you genuinely for the progress you made. But I also ask the council and the next one to remember this. Passing ordinances is only the first chapter. Enforcement is the story residents live with every day. Laws that are not enforced do not fail quietly. They fail loudly in higher costs, unsafe conditions, and a growing belief that compliance is optional for the powerful. Thank you for your time, and I hope the legacy of this council includes not just good laws, but the will to make them real. Thank you for your time and your service to Jersey City.
Our next speaker, 5.23, Jesus. Does that mean he is? Okay.
Esteemed council members, Mayor-elect Solomon, good evening. My name is Jesus Vasquez. I'm a resident at Portside. I'm a lawyer and have been in practice for the past 30 years. Most recently as Associate General Counsel and then General Counsel of Goya Foods. This is my first time speaking before you, and I thank in advance for your attention during my brief remarks. Quote, we've sent the message. This city belongs to the people who live and work here, not to landlords gaming the system or developers cutting corners on worker pay. Jersey City is fighting back and winning. Tonight, Jersey City took a stand against illegal collusion from corporate landlords driving displacement and inequality. If you're a landlord using tech to jack up rents, we are putting you on notice. Jersey City is on the side of fairness, dignity, and affordability. End quote. Esteemed council members, I ask you, do you recognize those words? Those are the words of then Jersey City Council member and now incoming mayor-elect of Jersey City, Mr. James Solomon, on May 21st, 2025, when this council unanimously passed Ordinance 25-057, which makes it illegal for landlords, such as Equity Residential in the case of Portside Towers, to use algorithmic software to recommend and set rental rates. And yet, this is exactly what Equity Residential has done. To date, unchecked and unabated by this city, by this council. Using algorithms to set rent prices based on shared competitor data, like Equity Residential does in Jersey City, is nothing short of price collusion, illegal price fixing, which is in violation of federal laws. Why? Because it undermines the free market by eliminating competition, which in turn leads to the higher rents for tenants. As you know, Jersey City currently has among the highest rents in the entire country. In the case of Portside Towers, not only has Equity Residential illegally colluded and price fixed by using,
Thank you.
sorry,
Our next speaker, 5.24, Susan.
Good evening, Council, and Happy New Year. I'm Susan Roca. Tonight is a turning point. This is the last meeting of this council, and before the room resets, it's worth asking a simple question. When the laws are passed but not enforced, Whom do they actually serve? That question is especially relevant as only 2 members of this council in this room tonight will continue on to the new year. Others will be joining later this month, and Councilman Solomon steps into his new role as mayor. Congratulations again. Portside residents are hopeful that our many hours at this podium, month after month, sadly year after year, remain a top of mind as Mayor-elect Solomon begins this transition. In particular, we look to the new mayor to continue supporting the ordinance he sponsored to prohibit algorithmic price fixing ban practices driven by companies like RealPage that distort rents and harm residents across the city. That ordinance matters, but ordinances only work if they are enforced. This council passed legislation establishing mandatory minimum fines for landlords who abuse Chapter 260. This was an important step, but there remains a serious lack of enforcement when it comes to actually collecting those fines. When penalties exist on paper but are not enforced in practice, the ordinance becomes symbolic rather than meaningful, a locked door with no key. Meanwhile, conditions at Portside remain unchanged. There's still no on-site superintendent. There's still no 24/7 security guard. These are not new requests. They're basic expectations for a building of our size, and they have been raised repeatedly, clearly, and in good faith. We've also heard the rumor, and this is disturbing, that the outgoing mayor once told the council members to ignore Portside residents because, quote, they'll eventually go away. Let me be very clear. That mayor is now out of office, but Portside residents are still here. We will continue to show up. We will continue to speak. We are not going away. We are parents, seniors, working neighbors, working professionals, neighbors. We stand together. We show up not because it's easy or convenient, but because this is our home and accountability matters. If enforcement is optional, then compliance is optional. If fines are never collected, then violations are encouraged. So as this council transitions and a new council begins, Portside residents ask, once again, not for new promises, but for follow through on laws already passed. Because a law that isn't enforced doesn't protect residents, it protects the status quo. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.25, Lucas.
Good evening, Council. My name is Lucas Roca. I'm a junior at Fordham University, and my mother is a resident at Portside Towers, regrettably owned by Equity Residential. This is just my second time in front of this council, and although I enjoy advocating for and participating in this community, it deeply concerns me to contemplate that many who have spoken and will speak to this council today have done exponentially more than I have, with meager results through no fault of their own. I spoke to you all last month about the necessity and legal obligation of staff security and an on-site superintendent, both of which Equity Residential has flagrantly refused to provide. Imagine my surprise when I visited my mother this Christmas and I saw no mandatory guard outside at night. Imagine my surprise when, after hearing my blaring fire alarm telling me to evacuate immediately, I was greeted in the lobby not by a calm, composed, mandatory building superintendent, but rather a panicked concierge who had not the faintest idea of what was happening. Can you conceive of being an elderly resident in this building, a disabled resident, a female resident, without adequate security measures and on-site technical expertise, which I needn't remind this council is already compulsory under current city law? Your constituents are left vulnerable in precarious situations. It's almost as if Equity Residential functions as a fourth branch of government in this city, serving a unique legislative and prescriptive system entirely beyond reproach. They seem to have the unique mandate of an opaque RUBS billing system that brazenly violates city ordinance and the coveted privilege of paying an infinitesimal fraction of the fines levied against them. I sincerely do hope that, unlike the de jure violations that this council has failed to enforce, that both the recent ban on algorithmic price fixing and the minimum fines under Chapter 260 are applied equitably. Although the weary expression on some of my neighbors here tonight who have been speaking for 3 years is not encouraging of this notion. I can recall the tired, exasperated faces here the last time I spoke, as if you all had heard the same speech a million times. But I have no doubt that those who remain will develop the same exhaustion. Worry not, council members, I have just the solution. Enforce the fines, hire the guards, staff a superintendent, demystify the utilities, and you'll never have to see my face ever again. Standing here tonight, speaking about persistent issues we informed this council of last month, I feel but a fraction of the frustration that I'm sure my neighbors face, but this won't deter me. Sorry, Mr. Fulop, we will not go away. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.26, Joel.
Good evening. I'm going to steal a few minutes, or I'm going to let Jesus steal a few minutes for me. His final concluding words were, "Mark my words, the day of reckoning is coming for Equity Residential in court. But is it finally going to come here in this hallowed hall? We certainly hope so. Thank you." Now, Madam President and council members, this is the final public meeting of this council. What is the record of this body? Under the Faulkner Act, this council has many powers and responsibilities outlined in NJSA 4069A-36. Obviously, a significant responsibility is to exercise legislative power by enacting ordinances for signature by the mayor. And thankfully, you've done that with 4 outstanding ordinances. However, the council may also act through resolutions. The first 3 enumerated powers and responsibilities under this section, and my comments on how well this council has exercised its responsibilities follow. A, the override of a veto of the mayor. Unfortunately, this body failed to override the only vetoed ordinance relating to bird safety, an ordinance that was unanimously adopted. B, the exercise of advice and consent to the actions of the mayor. Did this ever happen? C, the conduct of a legislative inquiry or investigation. We urged you to take this measure beginning in early 2023. You failed to take this action until August 20th, well after Stephen Fulop lost political power when Mikey Sherrill defeated him soundly in the gubernatorial primary. It is clear that legislative action is not enough. Enacting ordinances gives the impression that the council is doing its job, but its responsibility does not end there. If the mayor and executive departments fail to enforce these ordinances, the municipal council has the power and responsibility to investigate that failure. This council has not done so. I can't count the lame duck ad hoc committee that was formed less than 3 months before the election as a bona fide attempt to investigate. I will strongly urge the incoming council to do the job correctly. Investigate the failures of the Fulop administration and the Waterman Council to do their jobs and keep office holders accountable. Again, Mayor-elect Solomon, we look forward to your administration's enforcement activities. Incoming council, break the inertia and launch a bona fide investigation into the failures highlighted above. As I said last month, Mayor-elect Solomon and council members-elect Ridley, Brooks, Zupa, Efros, Little, Gilmore, Griffin, Singh, and Lavaro, we look forward to working with you to improve the security of all Jersey City renters. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.27, John. On here. Next, 5.28, Mel. Brendan's not here, 5.29, and 5.30, Michelle is here.
I thought the last December council meeting was your last, but you've had 3.5 more weeks to act, to use your Faulkner Act powers to enforce ordinances you passed but never implemented. And what did you do at that time? Nothing. You ran out the clock. President Waterman, on November 28th, 2022, when Kevin and I stood before you for the second time, you told us we were right and that excuses weren't good enough and the city needed to step up. Who knew your words meant that every violation we brought to you since 2022 would remain unresolved in 2026? Your term ends on the 14th. Our work doesn't. You've consistently underestimated us. We'll continue to investigate why this administration chose to protect equity instead of us, why every path forward for tenants was obstructed while our landlord operated with impunity. You may think walking out of this chamber releases you from accountability, but casual corruption is still corruption, and the public record you helped create will follow you. So let's begin to summarize the record. Dinah Hendon wrote fraudulent determinations to protect our landlord. And when we turned up the heat, she took a job representing landlords. That's not a career move, that's a payoff. Peter Baker and John Metro also got soft landings. Mayor Fulop refused to meet with us or show his face at a single council meeting in 3 years. His hand-picked prosecutor, Jake Hudnut, dismissed millions in landlord fines by abusing prosecutorial dismissal. Meanwhile, Councilman Soleil's December 14th, 2022 statement, quote, "I just think there's going to be irreparable harm done to the tenants before this gets resolved," end quote, was quite prescient. Tenants continue to suffer illegal evictions. The rent money continues to be stolen from our pockets. Families are forced to move and their children are torn from their friends. We have no security, no super, no emergency services. Do you know what that's like? We had a fire and a bullet shot through a window. But no, you didn't fail us. Failure implies that you tried. Instead, you sat idle while something far darker unfolded. Dealings that enriched landlords and devastated us tenants. You watched, you knew. Some of you have an opportunity for redemption and to do better. And as everyone else here said, we look forward to working with you, Mayor-elect Solomon, Councilman Gilmore, Councilwoman Ridley, and better days to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.31, Tara. Not here. Thank you. And our last speaker, 5.32, Charlene, which I do not see. That will conclude our public speaking portion of the meeting. So council members, any questions or comments on petitions, communications 6.1 through 6.53? There are no officer communications or report of directors. So, and we took care of business already. So before we ask for a motion to adjourn, I'm just going to ask if any council member would like to make a statement before we adjourn, and we can go in the order that we usually take the vote. So I'll start with councilperson.
Real quick, I think Mayor-elect has a quick thing he wanted to say.
Oh, no,
sorry.
no, you're fine, but just more, I just wanted, we just have a little kind of token of appreciation for every council member. We just wanted to bring up. So Isaac Hazo's here, but obviously, you know, we've been on the council for 8 years with Rich and Denise and Joyce and Danny, 6 years with Youssef, and then 4 years with Amy and Frank, and then a year with Maureen. Oh, yeah, you're the youngest. That's right, that's right. But obviously, you know, we would say is we disagree, but we know that each person here truly cares about Jersey City and fights for the city. So I just wanted to say thank you and just offer a token of appreciation.
I just want to say, first to Port Side, I get it. You guys are extremely frustrated. You're well within your right to be frustrated. I'm not dismissive of that. In fact, I actually give you guys kudos. I come from the advocacy world. I come from the world where you continue to fight injustice even when there's not a lot of progress. So I commend you guys. You've literally come here for every meeting since I can remember. And I respect that. But I do just want to say that I come from the advocacy world and now I'm elected official, and the harsh reality is that now I understand government in a nutshell move at tortoise speed. It is horrible. It is so frustrating. And at times I can't even understand why it moves so slow. So I just want to continue to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen. There's a new council coming in. Continue to hold us accountable. But the only thing I will ask is hold us accountable within the confinements of what our actual powers is. I'm grateful that we're going to have a new administration. I'm grateful that, this fight for affordability and enforcement is just not unique to Portside. It's a consistent overarching theme across the city. And I'm very hopeful that the new administration recognize that and will be a partner in trying to combat that. As it relates to the council, I know all of us guys, we haven't always agreed on everything. But for me, it have truly been life experience, a great learning curve, but navigating to work with people to find common ground, right? Anybody can not speak because they have differences, but it takes a very unique individual to try to find common ground, even when you constantly are butting heads, man. So I just want to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for your service. It is extremely hard being an elected official. You can literally save 20 people in a bus, and if the bus blow up, they'll say you didn't turn the ignition and cut the bus off. So it's a daunting job, and most people don't see the sacrifice that families pay. Some people don't put the kids to sleep, don't put the grandkids to sleep, miss basketball games, hockey games, and all of that stuff. So I do want to take this time just to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your services. And I continue to look forward to being in communication with you guys.
It's still, and then we're gonna go from that side now? Yes. That's how we're supposed to go from that side.
Yeah, so we're that's
he
okay.
had the mic, so he was rolling with it, I guess.
Councilperson Ridley.
I just want to say that it has been a pleasure serving with each and every one of you here. As was stated earlier, sometimes when you come to council meetings, you see us up here, you might see us disagree, but we are really a family. You don't always get along with everybody in your family, but we all understand what it is to sit up here. We understand what each of us is going through. We understand the time commitment, and each of you really do love this city. And I appreciate the time that everyone has spent here, the dedication and the sacrifices that you all have made. It has been an honor serving with you all, and I might be calling for some support. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Well, I haven't been here very long, but it's been one of the most interesting experiences I've ever had. I've been friends with a lot of these council people for a long time, so I've always respected them. I know how hard they all work, and I'm looking forward to a new mayor. He's going to have a very hard job. I think you all know how hard it is. We know. And we all want him to be successful because we're all Jersey City and he's our mayor. If he does well, that's great for us. So everybody here, I hope you're all going to support him. Our returning council members, she was my Ward A councilwoman for a while and then they redistricted. But this is a great group of people and we have a great future with a new administration, and I look forward to being involved as a citizen. Thank you.
Councilperson Baggiano, the one and only.
Yeah. Sean, I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with everybody, especially you, Sean. And Yusuf, I'm not going to miss you. But no, it's been a pleasure. And we have a great group of people that are working here in City Hall. And I've really enjoyed all these years. I'm going to go back to the hilltop. I'm going to be around. And I'm going to, Jennifer, you taking my picture? So, and Kevin, I'm not going to miss you also. All right, thank you, and it's been a pleasure over the years. Thank you very much.
Councilperson Saleh.
I want to ask a few questions actually, for Corporation Counsel. Sorry. All right, I'll ask you later. Okay. All right, I'll ask you later. To say that this has been the honor of my life is an understatement. I never anticipated even becoming a council member, but for the tragic passing of the late Councilman Michael Youn at the start of COVID, April 6, 2020. And this council and the community gave me an opportunity to represent the only home I've ever known, the Heights 4D. And I left my Wall Street career to serve the people. And, you know, my friends always told me, like, Yusuf, you always say you're a leader. And, you know, if you don't step up for your community right now during COVID, like, you really don't have the right to call yourself a leader. So I put my name in the hat, never expecting to be a councilman, but I love my community. I love Jersey City. And lo and behold, I got that opportunity thanks to this council, thanks to Mayor Fulop, and, you know, leaving my job to do this because I felt like this is a full-time job, and it is. And I never missed a council vote, never missed a council meeting. I loved every second of it, even when I was taking the punches to the face. And being the first Muslim elected official and Palestinian American in the throes of a genocide, you know, it was really tough. But I want to thank my council colleagues for being there for me. And this isn't a goodbye. I will come back at some point later. I just, you know, I want to take time to build my family. So thank you.
Now, I'm going in order, but I know that Councilperson Solomon, Mayor-elect Solomon already went, but if you want to say any more, no? Good?
I just said, I'll miss having a Steeler fan right out there. We got big playoff game coming up, but obviously. All right, thank you, guys.
You see, Councilperson-elect, you stole my thunder. I was going to leave that for last, but okay. You got it out there. Councilperson Gilmore, I know you spoke before. Do you want to say any?
No.
Okay. Because people are texting me to tell me all your time is up. Anyway, we're going to go with Councilperson DeGise.
Time is never up.
Never, not with the council.
It's been a real honor. That this side of the microphone is a lot different than the other side of the microphone, and I'm very excited to go back on the other side of the microphone and ask, why isn't it done yet? But this was a very, very special experience with some of the most amazing people. And it's true, we did not always see eye to eye, but we always left a room with immense respect for each other. We never walked out and said, you know, why did they speak to me like that? Or why did they lie to me? It's really hard to look people in the eye and trust them. Not just the council people, but the people who work for the city, constituents and everything. You have to put a lot of trust into that. Sometimes it worked out and sometimes it did not. This was a great experience. And thank you, everybody involved. Thank you to the administration, our lawyers, Sean, Jesus. I don't know what we would do without you. I don't know what you're going to do without us. Thank you to my aide, Danielle, for holding everything and myself down more than 100 times. And I'm going to miss everybody. I wish everybody the best of luck. I knew you all prior to myself getting elected, and I will know you guys all after. I'm excited to be civilian Amy, though.
Yeah.
And Councilperson Rivera.
So, so I'm gonna read my stuff, but I have two papers, but the only reason why it's two papers is because the font is big, because I really can't see. But, so tonight is emotional. It's humbling. And it's something I'm still trying to wrap my head around. For 12 years, the longest Latino elected official in the history of Jersey City, I have sat up here representing a city that raised me, shaped me, and trusted me. And tonight, I get to do something most people never get a chance to do. I get to tell Jersey City, thank you. I didn't walk into public service chasing fame, celebrity, or a title. I came here as Danny Rivera, the guy from the neighborhood who grew into a husband, a father, a grandfather, a coach, a community guy who just wanted to give back to the city that he loved. I wanted to serve honestly, stay grounded, and never forget who I was when I first took that oath. And I can honestly say I never changed who I was to fit politics. I stayed me. Before I thank anyone else, I need to thank the person who carried the heaviest part of this journey with me, my wife, Neda Rivera. Neda, you have been my strength. You have been my peace when the noise got loud. You shared me with this city for 12 years. You sacrificed moments, time, quiet nights, family dinners. My kids let me know about that. And so many pieces of life that people never see behind the scenes. You let me serve. You supported me even when it was hard. And when the politics got messy, you reminded me what mattered most, our family, our love, and our faith. I could not have done a single day of this without you, babe. I love you and I thank you from the deepest place of my heart. To my family, thank you so much for standing tall with me. Public service is not a solo job. It becomes a family commitment, and the family stood strong with me every step of the way. And to my colleagues on this council, the past, the present, Michael Youn is looking down at us. We didn't always agree, like some of us said. We're not here to be liked. We're here to be effective. And that's okay. That's democracy. But we shared responsibility for a city we care deeply about. I respect anyone who sits in these seats and carries the weight of decisions that touch real lives. To the city workers, the heartbeat of Jersey City, the people who do the real work every single day without applause or fanfare, thank you. You are the foundation of everything that works in this city. And to the residents, you trusted me. You believed in me. You challenged me. You reminded me why this matters. Serving you has been one of the greatest honors in my life. I carried your stories, your struggles, your hopes, and your pride with me every single day. Tonight, I leave in peace. I leave with pride. I leave with gratitude in my chest and love for the city still overflowing me. I am not disappearing as well. I'm going back to being Danny, being a husband and being father and a community man. I am 100% going back to the Roberto Clemente Little League, where it all started, to be their safety director. The same person I always was. Thank you, Jersey City, for the honor of my life. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for the memories. And thank you for letting me serve you. God bless you. God bless my family. And God bless the greatest city anywhere and everywhere, Jersey City. and an extra special shout out to Desiree and Yvette, two amazing, amazing partners.
All right.
Motion.
Wait.
We have
Counts-
to get up out of here. That's what's on our minds.
Council President Waterman.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the residents. The reason why I want to start out with you guys is because when you come to this council, you bring your ideas and you bring your complaints. And believe it or not, it challenges us because we're not in every place. So when you come, we do try to do what's best for the residents. I want to thank this council because even though we disagree on many issues, but we always felt like a family. And that was so important because when you're working with people, you don't want to come to work with attitudes because you really couldn't get nothing done. Nobody would move the needle. I want to thank the staff of the city of Jersey City because believe it or not, this is the heartbeat of the city. Those who work hard, who behind the scenes, every director, every manager, every supervisor, every layman, they put their heart into the city to make this city what it is. I want to thank all my assistants from Sierra to Shantae to Donna, who make my job seem very easy because these girls are good. I want to take this opportunity to just thank everyone because as I look over my years coming into this office, when I first started in this office, I was born and raised in Jersey City, and Jersey City was not as diverse as it is now. So often people forget that, but I don't forget it because there were certain parts of the city I could not go into. So when we took office and we began to look at how the city didn't reflect what we wanted to be, we began to change laws and to make sure when we looked at to the police department, it started to look like diversity. When we looked at the fire department, it started to look like diversity and so forth and so on and directors. I really want to thank Mayor Fulop because I know he get a bad rap, but when we came into office, there were so many challenges. And one thing he wasn't scared to do, he was not scared to move the needle, to make changes that was necessary for us to grow. So when I look at a Jersey City today and I leave it proudly. And the reason why, because this city is really diverse now. It was not diverse. I grew up in this city. I know it well. So when I leave this office, I am proud that we put these laws forth so people can feel like they have a part in this city. I thank God that when Steve found me, I'm a pastor of a church and I've always given back to the community. So often I listen to people say that certain people don't give back. I've been giving back over 40 years of my life to this city. I've been helping people who were in a need. I've been feeding families who are hungry, and I still do because that is what I do because I have a caring heart. As I was in this seat and I became the first African-American council president of this city, that was an achievement. But when I took that oath, my mother was very ill. And my mother passed away in 2021, but I had to still sit in this seat and do service to the city. In 2019, my husband had a stroke and I had to still serve this city. So often people criticize us, but don't realize what we have to go through. No, I love this city and I will continue to love this city. So when I walk out of this office, I walk with my head up high because when I look at this city and I look at every park that we voted on for it to be redone over, I walk proudly. When I look at every affordable housing that we have in this city, I walk proudly because it was this council up here that voted for these changes to take place. So when we leave this office, even though we're not a perfect people, but one thing I can say, we were a progressive people. We made this city what it is today. Now we have a new council coming in and we have a new mayor-elect who is Councilman-elect Mayor Solomon. And James have his hands full, but just like one of the council people said, this is our city. We want him to succeed. We want him to succeed because we know when he succeeds, all of us succeed. We know that well. So I am praying that everything goes well in this city because it will affect us. So as the first African-American council president female, I want to say thank you, Jersey City. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the love. Thank you for making me think outside my box and to continue to grow this city. Thank you,
Thank you, thank you. And may God continue to bless Jersey City. Just like Carol Burnett said, it's so time we had together. Now it's time to say so long. God bless you.
Before I ask the magic question, I just want to say one other thing. I promise I'll be very, very short. I just want to say I have to thank each and every one of you, the council behind me. You're a council that I'll never forget. You're also the council that provided me tenure when you reappointed me. So I will never, ever forget each and every one of you. And I know that you guys love Jersey City as much as I do. So with that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 7:15 PM? Well, I don't know who made that motion, but I'm going to say it's Councilperson Saleh, seconded by Councilperson Rivera. On the motion to adjourn at 7:15 PM, all council members by acclamation, please say aye. Aye. We are out of here at 7:15 PM. Thank you so much, everyone present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. And it's always never goodbye, but see you later. Stay safe.
And they're not starting.
What? Oh my God, Richie! I miss you, Richie. Richie gonna call me.
Yes. Oh, that.
You're interested?